Hi guys, I wanted to talk today about food storage. I know a lot of people are getting into food storage, especially nowadays with what's going on in a lot of the world. I'm not going to talk about why you should be storing food. I'm going to save that for a different video. I just wanted to mention a couple different options you have for food storage, different ways that food comes packaged, the pros and cons of each variety, and I'll let you make up your mind about what you want to do. So we're going to start off with store-bought goods. Basically anything you buy from the store that can be stored for a significant amount of time. You don't want to buy fresh foods, obviously. Things like milk, fresh meat, things like that are not going to store for a long time. I'm not telling you not to buy them to eat them. You know, keep doing what you're going to do, but don't count on those things to provide you with a good base of stored food simply because they're not going to last. So anything that you can buy at the store that would work for storage are things that would fall into the non-perishable goods categories. Starting off with canned goods, which is one of the most basic non-perishable food items. The pros and cons of these, we'll start out with a good on the list. Ease of obtaining these, very easy. You can find almost anything that you want in canned goods in almost any store. Cost varies dramatically based on the item, obviously, but when comparing to other methods of food storage, canned goods are very cheap. The size and weight and portability of these is one of the knocks on these, and the ease of use, because they are heavy. A lot of them contain water. They're making them not very portable, at least not a significant amount of food. Like one can is portable, but to take a week's worth of food somewhere in canned goods is going to be very heavy and not very portable. And you do need special tools to open them a lot of times, unless it's a can like this that has a pop top. Cans are going to need a can opener. Variety is extremely good. You can get anything in a canned good almost. Shelf life is actually pretty good. The date listed on this can right here, I don't know if you can see that, is 2012, January of 2012. So even as is, just as they sell it in the store, you're going to get at least 3 years out of this. I got this year. So you're going to get at least 3 years. And there's I'm really comfortable. I have no problem using them well past the date that they list on here. They put a date on there not only for liability reasons, in case someone were to eat it when it was kind of old and get sick, they don't want to get sued, but also simply because they want you to see that the dates on here, or see the dates on here, and maybe get rid of some of your food and buy more. It's that simple. So don't worry too much about the dates unless there's reason to believe that the contents have been spoiled somehow. But if the can isn't breached, it'll protect it from bugs, protect it from oxygen and things that spoil food like that. So they can last a long time. So shelf life is great on these, at least a few years, just as per the manufacturer's recommendation, and actually can go a lot longer. Variety, as I mentioned, you can get almost anything canned good. Different types of vegetables here, chili. We got different meats, generic Spam, yummy. Got salmon or tuna, anything like that. Any vegetables, baked beans, anything you want basically can come in a can. So that's one of the upsides. Other types of food that you can buy in the store-bought goods, would be any non-perishable. We got an example of some more tuna here in a pouch. These also last a long time. These are good till 2012. A little more expensive than the canned goods, so the cost is a downside on these. But the size, weight, and portability is much improved. This is ready to go as like a meal. Doesn't weigh anything. The packaging doesn't add any extra weight to the food. It's negligible. Portability is great. You just grab and go. You don't need anything to open it. Variety, there's not as much variety in these pouches. Basically, the only thing I've seen in these pouches are tuna, so not very much variety at all. But different things are coming like that. Shelf life is great, just like with cans. Other store-bought goods are non-perishable, includes things like dry goods like grits, oatmeal, mashed potato flakes, rice, beans. The ease of obtaining these is just as easy. You can go to almost any store. Cost. Now this is their big upside. Cost for these type of dry goods are extremely cheap. This thing of grits, 2 pounds, actually 2.25 pounds, was about $2, $2.50, something like that. And it's listed as having 28 servings in here. So 28 meals for $2. You can't beat that. Variety, like I said, isn't bad. You've got grits, oatmeal, rice, beans, potato flakes, all sorts of dry goods you can get at the store. They'll last a while. Sometimes the packaging isn't great, because the item, they don't have to worry about it lasting as long as something like meat. It naturally lasts longer. They don't put as much effort into the packaging. This is just a paper bag. Even with this paper bag, the date listed on there is the middle of 2010. So you've got at least a year just on the packaging that they come in. I can show you some things a little bit to improve that. But those are another great option. Shelf life is pretty good, and you can improve the shelf life on those without adding too much cost. So that's basically everything that you could buy in a store. Any non-perishable goods that have a good shelf life. Usually the cost is going to be pretty good. Next option would be Army MRE. Everyone's heard of these. These have a lot of upsides, but they also have a few downsides too. The ease of obtaining them, not too difficult, not as easy as canned goods or something like that where you could walk into any store. You can buy these online in a lot of places, so if you have the internet, not too difficult to obtain. Cost is their big downside. These nowadays are going to run you about $7 a piece for what could be at most 2 meals if you want, unless you're on some sort of starvation rations. But realistically, 1 or 2 meals for $7. Normally it's really only 1 meal, but you know, you can try and get 2 out of it for $7. We're going to compare it with something like this, $2 for 28 servings. See, for the price of an MRE, you could get, almost 90 servings. So the cost is ridiculously expensive when you compare it that way. Even to something like this big can of beans, $2. It's easily 1 or 2 meals for $2. Pouches, $1.50. 1 or 2 of these for a meal. So the cost is a big downside to these. Size, weight, and portability. Size, they're a little large too for a meal. When you look at something like this for 28 servings and compare it, it's pretty big. Weight isn't too bad, they're rather lightweight. Portability is great though, because you can just grab and go, throw it in something in the back of your car, in your bug out bag or whatever. That's a great advantage. And they're pretty rugged, you don't have to worry about the packaging breaking. The variety is decent, not only in terms of the menu of MREs offered, more importantly what's in each MRE. If you grab something like this, you're going to have 28 meals, but it's going to be all grits and you're going to be a little bored after a while. May affect your gastrointestinal, I don't know, whatever you got going on there. Might not be too fun after a few days of just grits. Whereas if you have a MRE, there's varied menu and the items in the MRE are mixed up. You got like some little pieces of candy and stuff. You got different items in there that make it good. Ease of use is great because you don't need anything special to open it. It's got a self-included heater. And even if you don't want to use a heater, it doesn't have to be cooked, but it comes with utensils, comes with seasoning, comes with a napkin, even a little thing of toilet paper. So ease of use is really good. Shelf life is also great. These things easily last 5 to 10 years if you take care of them. So shelf life is great. So all in all, these are a great option. The 2 downsides though are big ones. Size. Storing a lot of these, storing like a year's worth of MREs can take up a lot of space, but more importantly the cost. It just does not compare with store-bought goods or even other commercial long-term storage goods. The cost is just too high for MREs to make up a significant portion of your stored food, in my opinion. They have their place, definitely. You want to keep a case or so of these around. They're great for grab and go. They're great to keep in a vehicle, someplace that you don't have to worry about something happening to the food. It's rugged, it's tough, it's going to last a long time. But in my opinion, it's going to be really difficult to come up with enough money to store 6 months worth of food in MREs. Not that you'd even want to do that anyway, because you'd get tired of them after a while. So that's one option.